Mumbai. No godfather, no connections. Told his face was wrong.
He was 25 years old. Both his parents were gone. He had no money, no house, no connection in Bollywood, no one to call. He packed one bag. He got on a train to Mumbai, and he made a promise to the parents. He would never see again. I will make you proud. That boy is the man whose name the Burj Khalifa lit up for the whole world to see. This is the real story of Shah Rukh Khan. Today, right now, Shah Rukh Khan is one of the most famous human beings on this planet. Not just in India, on this planet. There are fans in Egypt, in Germany, in Japan, in Brazil, who have never spoken Hindi in their entire lives, but who know his name, who know his face, who feel something when they watch him on screen. He has been called the Badshah of Bollywood, the king of romance. King Khan, his house, Mannat, sits on bandstand in Mumbai, and people come from across the world who's to stand outside it and look at the gate. He is worth over $780 million. He has made films that over 1 billion people have watched, and none of that, not one single piece of it, was given to him. Not a connection, not a recommendation, not a phone call from someone who knew someone who could open a door. He came to Mumbai with one bag and a heart full of grief. No godfather, no family in the film industry, no money in his pocket. Just a boy who had already lost the two most important people in his life and had decided that the only way to honor them was to become something they would be proud of. That decision, made by a 25-year-old boy on a train from Delhi to Mumbai, is the reason we are here today. This is that story. November 2nd, 1965, New Delhi, India. A boy is born in the Rajendra Nagar neighborhood to a father named Mir Taj Mohammed Khan and a mother named Latif Fatima. His father, a man who came from Peshawar, was a freedom fighter, a man who believed in big dreams and bigger hearts. His mother, the daughter of a magistrate, an educated and sharp woman, ran the household with both warmth and intelligence. They were not a rich family, but they were a family, full of books, full of conversations, full of people who believed that education and character were worth more than anything money could buy. And right in the middle of all that warmth and intelligence grew a boy who was louder than everything else. Shah Rukh Khan was not a quiet child. He was not the boy who sat in the corner and read books in silence. He was the boy who read the books and then performed them for everyone in the room. He was funny. He was restless. He was always the one at the center of attention. His school, St. Columba's School in Delhi, was where he discovered two things about himself that would define his entire life. He loved to perform, and he was very good at it. He won the Sword of Honor, the highest award at St. Columba's, as an all-round best student. He was brilliant at cricket. He was brilliant in the classroom. He was brilliant on stage.
The kind of boy that teachers remember for years, after he has left. But underneath all that brightness, there was something else building, something quiet and dark, that most people who saw the funny, loud boy, Ontistachi, never knew about. His father's business had failed. The family was struggling, and his father, the big-hearted man who had come from Peshawar, with freedom in his soul, was getting sick. Very sick. 1981. Shah Rukh Khan is 15 years old. His father, Mir Taj Mohammed Khan, dies of cancer. 15 years old. The age when most boys are worrying about cricket matches and school exams. Shah Khan is standing at his father's grave, trying to understand how the man who was the center of his world is simply gone, He has spoken about this moment many times in interviews. He has said that his father's death changed something in him permanently, not broke him, changed him. He decided, at 15, standing at a grave in Delhi, that he would work so hard, so relentlessly, so completely, that his father, wherever he was, would never feel that he had left his son without a reason to go on. He went back to school. He threw himself into everything he loved: cricket, studies, theatre, but especially theatre, because on stage, in those 2 hours, when the lights were on and the audience was watching, he did not feel the loss. He felt something else. He felt alive. It was during these years that he came to know a theatre group in Delhi called the Theatre Action Group, under the guidance of a mentor named Barry John, a man who saw in young Shah Rukh a talent that was genuinely rare. He began to learn what acting really was, not just performing, not just making people laugh, but the ability to make people feel something real by being so completely honest on stage that the audience forgot they were watching someone else. Barry John later said that Shah Rukh Khan was one of the most naturally gifted students he had ever taught. He did not just remember lines. He understood people. He understood why people did what they did, how they felt, what they wanted, what they were afraid of, and he could show all of that with a single word. That understanding, born from loss, built in theatre, was the beginning of King Khan. He joined Hansrai College in Delhi. He studied economics, but his heart was not in economics. His heart was in the Theatre Action Group. He also joined the National School of Drama, and he started getting small roles on Indian television. The year 1988, a TV series called Fauji. Shah Rukh Khan plays a young army officer named Abhimanyu Rai. India watches, and India cannot look away. There is something about this boy, this Delhi boy with the big eyes and the slightly crooked smile, that feels different, feels real. More TV roles follow. He works in circus. He works in Dusra Keval. He starts to earn, not a lot, but something. 1,500 rupees for early TV work. He said 1,500. Felt like a fortune to him then. And then, 1,991. His mother, Fatima, dies from complications of diabetes. Shah Rukh Khan is 25 years old, and he is now completely alone in the world. No father, no mother, Hustim, and his sister Shenoz. He has talked about this moment with a honesty that breaks your heart every time. He said, I felt that losing one parent may be regarded as misfortune. Losing both looks like carelessness. He said it like a joke. But underneath that joke, underneath that famous ability to make even the saddest thing sound like a line from a film, was a 25-year-old boy standing in a house in Delhi that now felt completely empty. He had a choice. He could stay in Delhi. He had contacts there. He had a career growing in TV. He had friends who knew him. He had the streets he grew up on. But Delhi, every street, every corner, every familiar face was full of the people he had lost. So he packed one bag and he got on a train to Mumbai. Not because Mumbai was the city of dreams, but because Delhi had become the city of everything he had lost, he arrived in Mumbai in 1991 with grief in his chest, one bag in his hand, and a promise whispered to people who were no longer there. Doi Arit, I will make you proud. Mumbai is not kind to people who arrive without a plan, and the film industry is not kind to people who arrive without connections. Bollywood in 1991 was a world of insiders. If you did not know someone, if you did not have a producer uncle, or a director family friend, or a star who vouched for you, the doors were not just closed. They were locked. Shah Rukh Khan knew nobody. He was an outsider, a Delhi boy, a televisión actor, nobody's favorite, nobody's recommendation. He went from door to door. He met producers. He met directors. He auditioned. And the feedback was always some version of the same thing. You are too thin. Your nose is wrong. You are not a hero type. You are not good looking enough. For Bollywood, you should maybe try character roles. Most people hearing that feedback, at 25 years old, having just lost both parents, having no money and no connections, would have gone back to Delhi, would have found a job, would have made a life that was smaller but safer. Shah Rukh Khan heard the feedback, and he came back the next day. His first film break came in 1992, a film called Deewana. He was not the main hero. He was the second lead, but the way he moved on screen, energy, the rawness, de mujer, people noticed. And then he did something that nobody in Bollywood expected. He played the villain. In there, he played an obsessive stalker. In Basigar, he played a killer. These were roles that established heroes had rejected, roles that the industry said would ruin a new actor's image. Shah Rukh Khan took them, not because he was desperate, because he understood something that the industry did not. The audience does not fall in love with hero. The audience falls in love with honesty. And these broken, dark, complicated characters were the most honest thing he had ever been asked to play. He played them so well that India did not hate him. India was fascinated by him. He had done the impossible. He had made the villain into the most interesting person in the room. 1995, a film Kajed, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenga, DDLJ, director Aditya Chopra, actress Kajol, and Shah Rukh Khan as Raj Malhotra. Nobody knew what was about to happen. Nobody knew that this film would run in one Mumbai cinema, Ramandir, for over 25 years, without stopping. Not a week, not a month, 25 years, the longest running film in the history of Indian cinema. But here is the thing, that people forget. Shah Rukh Khan was not the safe choice for Raj Malhotra. He was the risky choice. He had just played two of the most famous villains in Bollywood history, and Aditya Chopra wanted to cast him as the ultimate romantic hero. People in the industry thought it was a mistake. Shah Rukh Khan proved it was the most inspired decision anyone had ever made, because what he brought to Raj Malhotra, the warmth, the humor, the vulnerability, the genuine love, was not acting, It was everything he had felt and lost and hoped for in his own life. The boy who had lost both parents. The boy who had come to Mumbai alone. The boy who had been told his nose was wrong, and his face was wrong, and he was not a hero type. That boy played the most beloved hero in the history of Indian cinema, and 1 billion people fell in love with him. But I want to tell you about something that most videos skip, because Shah Rukh Khan's story is not just from struggle to success, it is from success to struggle, back to success again. And that second part is just as important. Between 2018 and 2022, for years, Shah Rukh Khan disappeared. His film Zero had failed. Critics and industry people, the same people who had called him king, started writing articles with headlines like, "Is SRK over? Has Shah Rukh lost his magic?" For years of silence. During those for years, something even harder happened. His son Aryan Khan was arrested in 2021, and Shah Rukh Khan, the man who had lost both parents, the man who had come to Mumbai alone, the man who had fought his whole life for his family, sat in front of a courthouse and could do nothing. He has spoken about those days as the hardest of his adult life, harder than rejection, harder than failure, harder than silence, watching his child suffer. But Shah Rukh Khan did what Shah Rukh Khan has always done. He waited. He did not panic publicly. He did not beg for sympathy. He did not disappear. He waited. He worked in silence. He prepared. And then in 2023, Pathan released. On January 25th, 2023, Pathan broke every opening day record in the history of Indian cinema. Not some records, every record. The man who was written off, the man the industry had decided was finished, came back with the biggest opening any Hindi film had ever seen. And then Jawan came, and then Donkey. 3 massive films, 1 year, 1 comeback. And in 2025, Shah Rukh Khan won his first National Film Award for Best Actor after 30 years, after 1 billion fans, after being called king by everyone in the world, except the National Award Committee. 30 years later, the award finally came, and he stood on that stage and sighed, "I want to thank my parents. I know they are watching." So what does the story of Shah Rukh Khan actually teach us? Not the movie version, the real version. The first thing, grief can become fuel. Shah Rukh Khan did not wait until the pain went away before he started working. He worked inside the pain. He turned every loss, is fatir, is moter, his loneliness in Mumbai, into a mujer that nobody else in Bollywood could match. He once said, "I always knew that whatever I did, primera de todo, as if my parents were watching, because I believe they are. That belief, that the people you have lost are still watching, is the most powerful motivator any human being can have." The second thing, no Godfather means, you become your own. Every door that was closed to him, every producer who said no, every person who said his face was wrong, forced him to find a different door. And the door he found, playing villains, taking risks, doing what established heroes were afraid to do. Was the door nobody else had walked through. The outsider always has to find the door nobody else used. That door is always there. The third thing, success is not a straight line. Shah Rukh Khan was king for 20 years, then for years of silence, then the biggest comeback in Bollywood history. If you are in your silent years right now, if you are in the 4 years where people are asking if you are finished, remember that the silence before the comeback is part of the story, not the end of it. Here is what I want to leave with you. Shah Rukh Khan stood at his mother's grave at 25 years old, alone in the world, with one bag and a train ticket to Mumbai, and he made a promise. He did not know how he would keep it. He did not know that it would take years of rejection and sleeping on friends' floors and being told his face was wrong. He just made the promise. And then he showed up. Every day, every audition, every role, every film. For 30 years, you might be standing at your own version of that grave right now. You might have lost something. Apparent. A dream. A chance you thought was yours. You might be on a train, heading somewhere new, with nothing in your bag, except the decision to start again. If you are, know that the boy who arrived in Mumbai with grief and one bag and no connections built the most successful career in the history of Indian cinema, not because he was lucky, not because someone opened a door for him, but because he kept knocking until the door had no choice but to open. Lost his father at 15, lost his mother at 25, arrived in Mumbai with one bag, no godfather, no connections, became the king of Bollywood. The promise he made at that grave, Italiano,